Hey everyone, welcome to Bookish Nook. I'm bringing you the top 10 new adult books. Now, last year I read primarily only new adult books because I just found the genre and I was so happy with it and I loved it. It's pretty much everything that I read. So I'm going to give you the top 10 picks that I read last year. Now, if you don't know what this genre is, it's sort of the bridge between young adult and adult fiction. It really centers around students in the college and university years and sort of the trials and tribulations that they face during that time. There's also a lot of sex scenes because that is what happens during that age. It's centered around everything that a person learns in that age. So it's really fantastic if you're sort of growing out of a young adult, but not particularly you're not ready for adult. So new adult is that nice gap. Now my list isn't in any particular order, but I'm going to start with the first few books as a sort of they're sort of stepping stones into the more racy new adult books. Now the first book that I recommend is Losing It by Cara Cormac. Now this is a funny light read about a girl named Bliss who is in college or university, and she has not lost her virginity. And she goes out one night with her friends, and her friends are, all on board to make her lose her virginity with a one-night stand. She meets someone named Garrick, and they hit it off, and she doesn't end up having sex with him that night. She leaves, she's all embarrassed, and she goes to school the next day to find out that Garrick is actually her theater teacher. So a whole bunch of funny situations unravel, and it's a hilarious and funny read, and it's definitely worth picking up if you're looking to get into the genre because it's not as racy as other books in the genre. The second book that I would recommend is Easy by Tamara. Now, if you go on Goodreads and read the synopsis for it, it sort of sounds really creepy and weird, and it's a reason why I didn't pick it up for a while. But essentially this book revolves around a girl who is in university, and she sort of has an encounter with almost being raped and decides to take classes to defend herself. And there's this guy named Lucas there, and he's sort of like that brooding, dark type. And then she's talking to one of her TAs in her class, and he's really intellectual and the complete opposite of Lucas, and she finds herself kind of torn between these two people, and you watch her unravel the mystery that's there. This book is a great stepping stone as well into this genre because it's not as racy at all. I think the racy scenes are near the end, but it really gives you a sense of what this genre is about. The second book that I would recommend is a series, and that is the Seabury series by Abbi Glines. This series consists of Breathe, Because of Low, While It Lasts, Just for Now, Sometimes It Lasts, and Misbehaving. The reason I recommend this series as a stepping stone is because it begins as a young adult book. Breathe is young adult, and then Because of Low is I think it's still young adult, but it's building up, and then by the time you get to While It Lasts, it's new adult. I did not like Breathe at the beginning, and a lot of people don't, but as the series progresses, it gets fantastic. So if you're looking for an into new adult, this would be the perfect series. Now the next books that I'm going to recommend are completely new adult. So the next one is Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. Now I sort of picked this book on a whim when I did read it, and I read it in one sitting. This book completely captures your attention. Their relationship is so consuming, both in a good and bad way. It's fantastic. And it's about this girl named Abbi Abernathy who goes to university to sort of flee her past. And she meets someone named Travis Maddox, who is the definition of a walking nightstand. And it is just fantastic. These two characters you would never believe would be together are together, and it's fantastic. The series also has Walking Disaster, which is Beautiful Disaster from Travis's point of view. I didn't like this book as much as Beautiful Disaster, but it's still definitely worth a read if you enjoyed Beautiful Disaster. The next book that I'm recommending is Wait for You by Jay Lynn. Now this book follows a girl once again going to university and fleeing her past. She meets Cam, who lives across the hall from her, and he sort of like kind of pushes and pushes and pushes to crack her shell, and when he finally does, it's fantastic. This book is really good, and it also deals with some tougher subjects, and Jay Lynn does a fantastic job of keeping that balance. The next book that I would recommend is Fallen Too Far by Abbi Glines. Now, you're going to see a trend here. Abbi Glines writes primarily new adult books, so if you go check out anything by her, you'll have new adult. This book is, I really enjoyed this book. It's a series, but the first one, this one is by far my best. We have Rush and Blair. Now, there's a whole bunch of family drama, but essentially Blair's mother dies, so she goes to see her father, who is married to Rush's mother. When she gets there, her father is in Europe and Rush is there. And Rush does not like her at all and sort of gives her this broom closet to live in. And then he sort of falls in love with her, and it's a really great story. I definitely recommend Fallen Too Far because this is probably one of my favorites. The next book on my list is Twisted Perfection by Abbi Glines. Now this book takes place in the same town, universe, etc. as Fallen Too Far. You see the main character Woods in Fallen Too Far, so it's sort of his series. And then you have Woods and Della. Now Della is the exact opposite of perfect and normal. She comes from a sort of broken family, and Woods and her meet at a gas station because she doesn't know how to pump gas, and they sort of have a one-night stand and move on with their life. Then Della finds herself in Woods' town and applies at the golf course that he manages, and there we go. So this is definitely a good read, and you should definitely pick it up if you liked Woods' character in Fallen Too Far. The next book that I'm recommending is The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmerski. This book is about finding yourself and dealing with life's issues, even though you don't want to. So we follow a girl who's sort of going on a road trip to sort of clear her head and deal with her life. Then we have the boy of the story, and he's essentially doing the same thing, and they meet and they decide to take this road trip together, and they both discover themselves, their love for each other, and the hardships that life has thrown to them, and they deal with them together. This is a fantastic read, especially if you like road trip novels. This is definitely for you. The next book that I'm recommending is The Coincidence of Kaylee and Kayden by Jessica Sorensen. This book is really intense. We have Caden, who is completely broken. He comes from an abusive home, and then we have Kaylee, who was the sort of loser in high school and no one really liked her. And they meet in university and fall in love, and they have to deal with their past, especially Caden's. What I really enjoyed about this novel was that the problems that arise from their relationship come from Kayden and not Kaylee. And usually it's the girl who has most problems and the guy saves her. So that's what I really liked about this book as well. It's really intense and deals with physical abuse. Jessica Sorensen does a fantastic job of keeping that that respected and balanced, in a sense that it's not, it is a serious matter in this book, and it's portrayed that way as well. The final book that I'm recommending is 10 Tiny Breaths by K.A. Tucker. I recently read this near the end of last year, and I wasn't going to, but what really sucked me in was the title, 10 Tiny Breaths. I really enjoyed this book. It's about a girl and her sister who move to Miami to escape their grandparents, and she meets someone named Storm next door, who is a stripper who gets her a job at a strip club bartending, and she meets Trent Emerson, who lives across, and he sort of, without even trying, breaks through her walls that she's built for so long, and it's a struggle between maintaining them but letting him in. I really enjoyed this book. It's part of a standalone series, with the next one being One Tiny Lie. It just came out in paperback, so I would definitely check these out as well. So that's my top 10 new adult picks for this genre if you're looking to get into it. Comment below if you've read these books and what you thought, or if you read books I haven't mentioned here, tell me what you thought of them. I'd love to check them out. Bye!